Hello again. When a few months ago, supposed Canadian Native American singer Buffy Sainte-Marie was revealed to be an Italian American called Beverly, whose mother's name was Winifred, I was at once reminded of British comedian Eddie Izzard. Both have traded heavily on having a unique selling point, which sets them apart from other singers and comedians. Let's face it, there are an awful lot of aspiring singers and comedians, and if you wish to stand out from all the rest of them, then it's no bad thing to have something special about your character, background, or appearance which marks you out as being different. This kind of thing can either propel you to stardom in the first place, or perhaps revive an ailing career. If you choose carefully, you can come up with something which can distinguish you visually from all the others. Sometimes, as in Buffy Sainte-Marie's case, it is a few strategically placed feathers, which put one in mind of Red Indians. And in Izzard's case, it is crimson lipstick and wearing the clothes more commonly seen on members of the opposite sex. When Buffy Sainte-Marie was starting out as a folk singer, there was a lot of competition. There were people like Joan Baez, for instance, who was just getting going as well. Joan Baez was able to trade on her Hispanic ancestry. Her father was from Mexico. This was a great selling point in the early 1960s when she and Buffy Sainte-Marie were starting to appear in various places. Whether it was this which gave her the idea, we will never know, but having a naturally dark skin because her parents were Italian gave Buffy Sainte-Marie the confidence to start pretending that she was actually a Native American. This became her great selling point, which she was able to remind audiences of with a few visual clues, such as her clothes and various trappings which she affected. Her songs were heavily geared towards Indian rights and so on as well. She sang the title track to the film Soldier Blue 50 years ago, which I'm sure some older viewers will remember. It was all brilliantly successful and allowed her to become a huge star. This is how having that special feature can turn you into a success. Eddie Izzard was a fairly successful comedian and actor already, and it was only when his career began to falter that he thought it necessary to adopt his own special selling point, which entailed playing to the current mania for transsexualism and claiming that despite having a penis and fetish for women's clothes, he actually was a woman. He began dressing full-time in women's clothes and applying garish makeup so that nobody could ignore the fact that he was now supposed to be a woman. At the same time, thinking perhaps of people like actress Glenda Jackson, who moved from being a star of television and cinema into becoming an MP, Izzard decided that he might be able to ditch his current line of work as a comedian, which wasn't going too well, and get himself a seat in Parliament. He saw it perhaps as an easy win to declare himself a woman and then try to be selected as Labour candidate for the seat of Brighton. You would think that he was cresting on the top of the zeitgeist there, wouldn't you, really, in these days of enthusiasm for transsexuals? Unfortunately, this gambit has now failed, some people viewing this attempted change of sex and career with suspicion and suspecting it to be mere opportunism. It is for this reason that I was prompted to think of Eddie Izzard when the news broke about Buffy Sainte-Marie's true history. I note that just as she sticks feathers in her hair, so too does Izzard put a pink beret on his head, as may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. Both of these characters are playing to the gallery, trying to persuade people at first glance that there is something different about them, that they're not just any old run-of-the-mill folk singer or comedian. They are special. Buffy Sainte-Marie has had a run of 60 years at this gag, whereas for Eddie Izzard it's all relatively new. Like all transvestites, he used to dress up in fetish-type clothing in the past, But it's only lately he started dressing full-time in this way and posing as a woman. It remains to be seen if he will think it worthwhile maintaining this persona now that his hopes of getting to Parliament have been dashed. Let's face it, if he couldn't pull this stunt off in Brighton of all places, then there is little hope of his being able to persuade any other constituency to adopt him as their candidate.